Kia ora, welcome to Bustaz. Sorry I've been a bit slack lately. Well, not really slack. I've actually been really busy cutting trees and doing up this section ready for summer, including things like setting up this outdoor dining area. And so I haven't really had much time to do some videos, but I did want to show you some of the things I've recently bought from AliExpress and around locally, and I'll get into that now. So while New Zealand is back at level 1, which means pretty much the only thing shut is our borders, freight coming in is still a little slow, so I've actually got a lot of stuff still on the water from AliExpress that hasn't yet arrived. But some has, and some you've actually already seen, in particular these crimpers. They are brilliant. They're for crimping the ferrules, which I've showed you in another video, onto wire to protect the wire. They work great. They're pretty bloody cheap compared to buying them locally, and good for this model is good for up to 10mm squared cable. So they're pretty cool. Also, I've got some more spade terminals, or flat terminals, depending on how you call them. 3 different sizes, and the ones I've gone for are not insulated. Well, they have an insulation cover, but they're not actually insulated. Now I've done that deliberately because I can see the crimp, or even solder it if I wish. And I'm not really comfortable with the fully insulated ones that you crimp underneath the insulation. You really can't see. The only way to know if it's going to fall off is to try and pull it off. Now I also got some, I think the XT60, so a 60 amp plug. Male and female, and these are solder type connections, and they can only go together one way, so they're set up perfectly for DC positive and negative. They have little covers. That fit on the back. Once you've got the wires put in. And they are supposedly good for 60 amps. Not sure I'd want to run 60 amps through that, but they seem like a really ideal low voltage plug. Now, something I've bought locally, if you've seen my video on the power board, you know, I'm making it out of acrylic and I'm having trouble getting the acrylic to stick to the acrylic, so I've managed to get some acrylic cement. American stuff. You Americans have got all the good shit. I mean, this is really awkward, really hard to buy here in New Zealand. In fact, I ended up buying it from a company that uses it to glue acrylic things together. And what it is weld-on 16, so it's a fast set solvent cement. The idea being that it literally melts the acrylic, the 2 pieces of acrylic then solidify and end up essentially welded together. I've tried it. It works better than anything else I've tried, but I would like to have seen it work even better. But it looks good, so that seems to do the trick. Now, something quite cool here is this little heater unit. Now, it's quite small, so hopefully it does the trick. I think it's supposed to be good for 2. I think it's supposed to be good for about 2 kilowatts. What it has is you pipe coolant into it, and much like the heater in your car, the coolant runs through it, fans blow air across, across the little radiator pipes there inside it, and you get hot air coming out. 24 volt unit, so that will give me like a boost fan, I guess. Because I'll be running hydronic heating, I'll have hot coolant floating around the vehicle, so if I run some through that, I can crank the fans up and get a burst of hot air rather than the radiant heat, which is what I'm actually going to be using day to day. That's pretty cool. Now, something else I have bought is these light strips, the LED light strips. I'll show you what they'll do. They're actually programmable, so they can do quite a lot of things, but these, I don't know if you can even see them. Now, I'm not going to tell you right now what these are for, but you will see them in a later video. Something I reckon they've stuck the double-sided tape on the wrong side. So underneath that tape is the light, and the other side is the back with no light on it. So I think that's back to front, unless I guess it's for going on the inside of something, but even then I think it's back to front. But I'll make it work, and you'll see them later on. They're actually really programmable. You can run it through an app on your phone, and you can do all sorts of different colours and patterns and crap like that. And lastly, but not least, is a little kit for using 18650 lithium batteries. Now, I actually considered making the battery for the bus out of these batteries. Now, these are some old laptop ones. They were sitting around about 2000 milliamp hours. Now, I've got a whole stack of them, and I did actually consider making a battery myself, using a whole ton of these cells, making my own 24 volt battery for the bus, but I didn't end up going that way, and it was going to be quite a lot of work, and it would have really involved assembling it, because these things at the time didn't really exist. Now this is just this just makes it so easy. So I can literally throw in this case 8 cells. This is actually a 4S2P unit. So the difficult thing with these actually is that if you want 24 volts, you'd use 7, which is kind of excellent, make a nice battery. Now, but 3 is not quite enough for 12 volts. Well, it is, it'll give you 12 volts, but it can dip below 12. And 4 is really too much. That's kind of, shit, that could get up to 16 volts. But I've gone with 4, with the intention of maybe running it around about 50% charge, which would have it sort of just under 15 volts, which would fly under the radar of a lot of things that want 12, but would never get below 12. So for a high load thing like a diesel heater, for example, it would sit there at a voltage that's still safe, but never drop below 12. And I've gone for, now this is the BMS that simply clips to the top. So you fill this with batteries, you put this on top, and you've got your BMS. And this one, it's only got a single BMS unit put into it. You could have up to 3, and so that's 30 amps. Could go, you know, obviously 60 or 90 amps through this, which again I don't think you should be running 90 amps through that. I don't think you should be really trying to pull 90 amps out of these batteries. So I'll have to see how it goes. So I've got 3 of these, which means I'm 4P and 4S6P. So I've got plenty of grunt there. Be interesting to see how these go. There's a couple of things I don't like about them. The positive and negative terminals are literally right there. So the bolts that join them together, the spaces that join them together, the bolt and nut end comes out the end, and that's live, positive and negative, and quite a bit of power, obviously, whilst it's fused and so on, but I don't really like that. It means I have to find somewhere really safe to put it so that it doesn't short out on anything. But anyway, that's all I've got. It's Bathurst this weekend, so anyone in New Zealand or Australia who likes petrol's probably not going to be working on their bus today anyway. The offset's smoking up a nice piece of pork. Boys are coming over. So I'm going to set myself up in front of the TV for a day of motor racing, and maybe we'll get back into the bus next weekend. So if you like the video, hit like and subscribe and press all the buttons, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Take care. Mā te wā.